Consolidation, staffing, and establishing a new middle school. The case for Happy Valley Schools, the middle school consolidation. Currently, there are 9 buildings in the Happy Valley School District. There is one 9 through 12 high school and 8 K through 8 schools. The plan is to close one K through 8 building, turn another K through 8 building into a 6 through 8 middle school, and turn the other 6 buildings into pre-K through 5 grade buildings. Johnson will be closed due to urban decay, and Kennedy will become the new 6 through 8 middle school. The reasons for consolidation. The single biggest reason for any school consolidation is to decrease costs. Savings will then be reinvested in the education of the students of the Happy Valley School District. Johnson has been scheduled for closure because of the state of disrepair the building is currently in. There is a history of consolidation. The idea of consolidation is one that has been popular for the last 100 years. Especially since the 1930s, consolidations has led to fewer school districts. Even as the number of school buildings have decreased, the number of students serviced has increased. This obviously means larger schools. Issues regarding consolidation, the public relations in the community. The single most important factor in determining a successful consolidation is the public perception. Community members think back to their glory days in the local schools and would like their children to have those same experiences. According to James Coleman, there are functional communities and value communities. Schools prior to the consolidation of the 1960s meshed more with the local neighborhood's value system. This started to disappear after the massive consolidations of the 1960s. Schools became disorganized and unruly. Replacing the functional community is the value committee, or schools that are built on the values of the students and their parents. Today, Catholic or private schools are the best examples of the value communities. It is important to note that a value community is not necessarily a neighborhood school. This could bring in students from many different neighborhoods or from across a town, a county. Public relations in the community in the administrator interview. The administrator that I interviewed is an administrator at a larger rural public school. He agreed with the research that was found for this consolidation scenario. It is his belief and experience that the single biggest obstacle in consolidating buildings is how the public cherishes their neighborhood school buildings. Staffing. One of the main reasons to consolidate is to cut operating costs. One way this will be done is through the elimination of teachers and support staff. In West Virginia, in the 6 years before the 1993-94 school year, the number of schools decreased by 18%. Along with this decrease, the number of teachers decreased by 8%, administrators by 15%, central staff personnel by 19%, and classified personnel by 22%. Larger schools tend to have less teacher morale than smaller schools, and teachers tend to have a more negative perception towards the administration. In the administrator interview, this particular administrator believes that there is a financial benefit. However, to keep the student-teacher ratio down, the majority of teachers in a consolidated district would remain employed. The real financial benefit of the consolidation occurs by letting go of the support staff, custodians, food service, etc. Some teachers will be let go. Those that get to keep their positions within the district are based on seniority and certification. Teachers union. The research points out that teachers unions in larger school districts or larger school buildings tend to have more power, which can lead to increased costs because of contract negotiations, benefits. The administrator that I interviewed, however, doesn't really believe that this research is the case. He believes that unions would have little or no bearing on the issue of consolidation. Contracts have already been negotiated with clauses dealing in reduction in force. Also, the administrator does not necessarily believe that a larger school building equates to a greater union power. Instead, he believes the percentage of teacher inclusion in that union is a much greater indicator. Administration. Administrators in larger schools have to work with teachers with a teacher base that has a more negative perception towards them. Collaboration and cooperation can be more difficult. The administrator that I interviewed took a little bit of a different tack than the research. He believes administrators would be the most effective group in a consolidation. Because there is no administrator union, administrators that will be released is determined by the Board of Education. Administration is easily one of the areas where the district can best be able to cut costs. Transportation. Because students are grouped together in grade level, not by neighborhood, transportation costs will increase, according to Andrews. Andrews also points out that there will be an opportunity cost for the student and the parent because of increased travel time to school, less time to spend on studies, less time to spend as a family unit. The administrator that I interviewed believes the exact opposite, that there will be a reduction in the cost of transportation. It might not be immediate, but there will be a reduction in the cost. And this is due to bus routes being consolidated. If you have two schools and two buses going to both of those schools that are half filled, you can consolidate that into one bus that is going to one school. You're eliminating the cost of two buses. Parents. In the research, you find that, again, community members tend to believe that their time in the neighborhood school were the glory days. And this is the most rewarding part of their life. They would like their children to have the same fond memories. The administrator agrees with this. Parents have a great amount of loyalty to the neighborhood school. People do not like to be moved around. Parents would be upset if their kids are being bussed away from the neighborhood school and going to a larger community school or a county school. In this administrator's particular district, tradition is a huge factor in anything that is done. People want their kids to experience what they experienced. Students. The research has shown that student attendance, extracurricular activities, and self-concept are all higher in a small school setting, while the dropout rate is lower. However, research shows that small school academic achievement is at least equal to or greater than the achievement of larger schools. This all comes from Cotton. Cotton's basic point is, when you consolidate, you are creating larger schools, while the small school setting appears, as far as the research is concerned, to be higher achieving and better overall for the student. The administrator doesn't necessarily agree with this. Anytime that the kids' surroundings are changed, they are going to react. However, kids tend to acclimate quicker than adults to new situations. Also, in this particular school district, there was no real fear that kids would leave the school district based solely on consolidation of school buildings. Staff development and training. There's not a tremendous amount of research because most school districts will not train to consolidate, or at least train focused solely on consolidation. The administrator, however, did point some things out that his district has done in the past. There would not necessarily be any staff development training focused on consolidation. However, they have had in this district professional development that focuses on making the schools within the district more consistent. For example, An A in one elementary school should be an A in another elementary school within the district. The district also would want kids to be doing the same things in all of their schools at the same times. So basically, you could pick a student up from elementary school A, drop them into elementary school B, and that kid would not need a tremendous amount of time to acclimate. They would be roughly in the same exact place in all of their classes. This district has tried to do this, has tried to attain this through professional development. What are the action plans? Well, first, we have to ask ourselves, why are we looking to close schools? Is this for financial reasons? Is it building conditions? Is it because one school district has 70% minority while another school district has 2%? Are we looking to equal this out? What exactly needs to be consolidated? How many schools? How much personnel would we lose in the process? Is this actually going to benefit the district? And how is this going to benefit the district? Is this going to benefit the district just purely for financial reasons? Or will this increase the academic achievement of our students? You then need to develop a plan. Meet with the appropriate people to make a plan and discuss these previous questions. If a school does get closed, what is all the information that we need to present to the public? We need to develop a plan that will allow us to hit the largest segment of the population of the community. And we have got to show them why the district is doing this and why this will benefit not just the district but the community also. We can do other things like hold forums, hold a meeting where personnel can ask questions, hold a meeting where the public can ask questions. Knowledge is incredibly important with a decision this big, this large. These are the resources that were used. I would like to point out that the administrator that I interviewed is Ed Leggett. He is a former middle school assistant principal, high school assistant principal, and he is the current athletic director at New Philadelphia City Schools in New Philadelphia, Ohio.